My emotion, everybody in this room that counter hit the road going to the grave. Hey, listen to me. Look here. I am a good guy. I've got a lot with my wife and family. I do, and need to die. I've got a great wife. I've been married to her 40 years. This is unworth it. This is a problem. Please do UNT. Please do you. Please. WQU. This is Cristiano Alves Terto, who's in a Brazilian court for attempted murder in 2012. 38-year-old Francisco Caló, Mariano de Mora, and Francisco Alves were arguing over a missing donkey when Mora shot him. Alves was rushed to the hospital, but he succumbed to his injuries. Mora was subsequently arrested, and during his trial, Alves' son, 27-year-old Terto, snuck his gun into the court as the proceedings continued. You could see Terto make his way to the front, where Mora was sitting. To's sister sensed his intentions and tried to hold him back, but she was no match for him as he rushed to the front mirror, noticed the commotion, and tried to hide for cover behind the judge's desk, but Terto followed him up and shot him until he ran out of bullets. Then he hit him with the empty gun a few times and then made a run for it. M was rushed to the hospital and was able to make a full recovery. Dito was later apprehended and is facing attempted murder charges. However, Cristiano Alves DTO was the first person to pull such a crazy move in court music. Applause music. There's the case of 25-year-old Tongan gang member Kale Angelo, who's in a Utah court on several charges, including robbery, weapons offenses, and assault. Angola, and some members of his gang were arrested for gang-related racketeering and the shooting of 2 U.S. Marshals in court. The prosecution brought an ex-member of the gang to testify, however, as he was detailing the gang's criminal behavior. Angola couldn't take it. Walls do UNT _ move, drop the P. Drop the P out of your hand. Drop it out your hand. He stood up, grabbed a pen from a lawyer, and ran towards the ex-gang member. Angelo's plan was to stab the testifier right there in court, but as he jumped over the counter, a U.S. Marshal guiding the witness fired multiple shots at him. Boom, 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 and then boom, 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 boom. Following the commotion, Angola was rushed to a nearby hospital, but unfortunately he didn't survive. The ex-gang member was unharmed. However, it's not the first time convict has lost control in court. Stop recording, just like what happened in the notorious case of 52-year-old Aubrey Trill, who is facing murder charges in Nebraska. On November 15, 2017, Trill and Sydney LOF went on a date after connecting on Tinder the next day. LOF went missing, and weeks later her remains were discovered in garbage bags. During investigations, detectives got receipts and video evidence of LOF and Trill hours before she went missing. The evidence revealed that TR and his girlfriend, Bailey Boswell, had bought several tools that they used in murdering and severing her body. On noticing the police had evidence of their crime, the couple ran to another state and made several videos trying to prove their innocence. Curious, are we not allowed to tell our side of this again? I am just a criminal, so you're going to believe none of this, and I guess it is really irrelevant. We have apparently murdered this lady. If I am a thief, I am a thief, but I be goddamned Ivy. Never killed anyone in my life. I've never a female in my life, so take that for whatever the hell is worth. Eventually, officers quickly arrested TR and his girlfriend. When he was questioned, he told officers that LS death was a music mistake involved. There was Struhl involved. It was not supposed to go as far as it did, but it did. Do you want to remember why you things? You do want to remember why the places she was laid as she was, because we believe in that position, because was missing from her that she will come back quick. Tra pleaded not guilty, and during his trial he brought out a razor blade that he had smuggled into the court. Then he screamed that his girlfriend was innocent and slashed his throat multiple times. Lady is innocent. You all stop recording. Officers quickly intervened, and Trail was rushed to the hospital. Fortunately, he recovered on his next court appearance. Officers ensured that he was properly restrained. During the testimony phase, Trail told the court his version of the story around Lufe's death. She was in desperate straits, I guess is the right way to put it, and I am sorry too, I played on that. Sydney LOF died that night. Later down the road, I come up with a story to try to protect me and her, mostly her, but because it was only me, Bailey, and Sydney there the night Sydney died. What did you use to dismember body? I used to saw that it is similar to a Huxall blade, but I call it a curve. So, on hindsight, it was a really bad decision, but it S1 I did it. I have to live with it before he was sentenced. DEADLIEST his family, but he refused to apologize at first. I would like to say that even though I have to direct my statement to the court, I understand that it est not for the court. It est for Sidney Luce's family. And I also want you to know that my attorneys could only defend me on what I told them. And I think they did a great job at that, but they could only work with what I told them, I guess, is what I am trying to say. And I guess last request is I not want to do this like a coward. Is there any way that I can come to that side of the table and face the law of family? When I read this statement to them, no sir, you need to stay where you are, yes? Ma'am, I am writing this down so that I do unleave anything out, as this will be the only time I get to address Sidney L's family. I realize that nothing I can say here today will change in the least what I did to Sidney 3.5 years ago. I unsay. I am sorry, as that would be an insult. You, after what I put you through, and I and ask for forgiveness, as I do and believe there is such a thing. I doubt that there is such a thing as closure in a case such as this, so I and pretend that I am only doing what I should have done 3.5 years ago. Trail was subsequently sentenced to death. Do find the said defendant, as to the charge of count 1 murder in the first degree, guilty of murder in the first degree by purposely and with deliberate and premeditated malice. His girlfriend was sentenced to life, however, while Aubrey Trey's action was shocking. It is nothing compared to the chaos caused by Michael Applause, Marin, American lawyer and millionaire who is in a Phoenix court for arson and insurance fraud. Marin was an alumnus of Yale Law School and had a mansion that contained rare art pieces. Marin was living his best life as a millionaire and successful Wall Street trader. He had traveled to different continents and even climbed Mount Everest, a high-altitude, acclimatization climb up to 25,000 feet. Things started getting bad for Marin when his mansion mysteriously caught fire and he barely escaped with the help of scuba gear. Hey, what's your emergency? My house is on fire. Are you going to be able to get out? I've got one of those ladders. Oh, you have a ladder where I'd rather work on that than underscore. You so let me get out of the hell out of here in the hospital. A grateful Marin recollected what happened. Realized that I actually had some air left in that tank. And that's what enabled me to get back to the window and deploy that ladder. If I hadn't had those two things, we wouldn't be talking. Following investigations, detectives discovered that the fire had been deliberately started, and Marin was arrested and charged in court. Marin could spend a minimum of years in prison if found guilty in court, and attorneys argued that he was innocent. But the jury returned a guilty verdict. Can you please read the verdict? We, the jury, dull im panel, and sworn in the above entitled action upon our oath do find the defendant Michael James made guilty of arson of an occupied structure. We further find this offense is a dangerous felony because the off involve the discharge, use, or threatening exhibition of firewatch closely, and you will see Marin put something in his mouth as soon as he hears the guilty verdict. Fire a deadly weapon or dangerous instrument, yes, like by the PO person. Is this your true verdict? So say you want an all yes before the judge could sentence him. Marin appeared to swallow the same hidden substance again as the judge began reading his sentence. Marin started coughing and seizing by the time officers rushed in. He had collapsed, Your Honor. Marin was later rushed to the hospital and it was discovered that he had poisoned himself with cyanide pills. Marin did not survive, however, when emotions run high in court. The actions of Michael Moran and Sean Stein leave us questioning sanity itself. 43-year-old Stein is in court for first-degree murder in Kentucky after gunning down a district court judge on September 19, 2024. Police received 911 calls about an active shooter in the Letcher County Courthouse. County shot. When officers arrived, they discovered that former Letcher County Sheriff Sean Stein had fatally shot 54-year-old Judge Kevin Mullins. Video footage showed both men appear to be arguing in the judge's office when Sheriff Stein shot him. Following the first shot, the judge went under his table, but Stein still shot him at point-blank range. The judge stopped moving, but before Stein left, he fired a last shot at the unresponsive man. Stein was later arrested. He pleaded not guilty in court, and his case is still ongoing. However shocking Sean Stein's actions were, how does it compare to the case of Clay Allen Duke, a Florida man who took matters into his own hands? After his wife was sacked as a schoolteacher in December 2010, Duke attended the school board meeting to let them know how he felt. Duke's family was battling tough times and relied on the wife's salary for upkeep. Midway through the meeting, Duke requested to address the board, but before he began, he ensured the board knew he was there for vendetta. "I have a motion. My motion is that everybody in this room except behind that counter get the road before the board members could put." In a word, Duke pulled out his gun. He orders the women to leave. You may leave mean, he told you women can leave 6 men. Stay. Everyone else leaves. The women promptly left, including the only female. Board member Ginger Littleton. However, Littleton couldn't just leave the men at the mercy of a hurting man, so she intervened. No. Ginger out here. Ginger, go on. Duke quickly foiled her plan, but it distracted him enough for more experienced officials to arrive. Having dealt with Littleton, Duke again turned his attention to the men where the board chair tries to reason with him. "Elementary John, you see, our benefits have run out. What I am saying. She was fired. I am going to the grave. I am going to, hey, listen to me. Look here. I am a good guy. No, I've got a lot with my wife and family. I do need to die. I've got a great wife. I've been married to her 40 years. I've got 2 great boys. Please just talk to us. If I can help you get your wife a job somewhere else, I'll be glad to do that. Hey, listen, I am the one that signed the paper, right? 'Kay, I do want to remember and I do want to know who she is, but let them go. I am the one that did it. I mean, they do want and sign the papers. I am the only one that signs them. Will you let them go here?" What I do and want to happen. I do and want anybody to listen. Just listen to me for a minute. I do want anybody to get hurt, and I've got a feeling that what you want is the cops come in and kill you, because you mad. Because you said you're going to die day, but why if this is UND worth it? This is a problem. Please do UND, please. With the board chair still speaking, Duke fired at him again and again and again. Please do UNT. Please, according to reports. Duke fired 14 rounds. Luckily, none of the bullets touched anybody as Duke was still firing at the board members. The school guard, Mike Jones, an experienced ex-police officer, finally reached the hall and shot him. The bullets caught Duke in the legs, and he quickly fell to the floor. I've seen him bringing his weapon up and pointing straight at the superintendent. Please do NT. Please do NT. Please do NT. Please. Oh, God, here we go. Flung this door open to my left. Saint through the door with my weapon. He fired the first shot at the superintendent. I fired my first shot and hit him, which spun him around. As he spun around, I took 2 more steps over behind here, and I shot him again, and he went down. Duke returned fire, but the experienced guard had already taken cover, wounded and down. Duke turned the gun on himself. No one else was injured in the madness. Just when you thought you'd have seen it all, another convict surpasses Clay. Alan Duke's wild courtroom display enters Slobodan Prak, who's in the International Criminal Tribunal for war crimes committed during the Bosnian War. Prak was a major figure during the war and allegedly oversaw the murder of several people. He was also accused of attacking multiple international organizations. Prak insisted that he was innocent, but the International Criminal Court found him guilty and recommended a sentence, but Prak appealed the verdict. During the appeal, the verdict confirms the sentence, dismisses the prosecution's appeal concerning Prak. In all other respects, affirms the sentence of 20 years of imprisonment, subject to credit being given under Rule 101C of the rules for the period he has already spent in detention. Mr. Prak, you may be seated. After hearing the verdict, Prak loudly protested the judgment, as the judge tried to restore calm. Prak pulled out a bottle of liquid and drank it. "Stop, please. Please sit down." As the trial continued, Prak announced to everyone that he had taken poison. There's findings that Petkovic was responsible as a participant in a JCE. Under JCE problem here. "I have taken poison." The trial was immediately suspended as officials rushed to provide aid. We suspend please the curtains. Prak was rushed to the hospital, but he didn't make it. While it was clear that Slobodan Prak wasn't happy to hear they were guilty, his reaction to the verdict was similar to the case of 19-year-old Cyrus Matthews. "I did this okay," they tealed. "My applause God," who's facing road rage charges in Ohio in 2017. Matthews was sentenced to 60 days in prison for a road rage incident and was granted an opportunity to speak. I'm sorry for you, no acting immature on the road. I understand that, being on the road, you do have other people's lives in your hand, and, I should have thought about that. Is there any way that we could reverse this jail time? Well, you go and have to go to jail today if you need to get out attend. We can consider. Okay, right now, you're going, however. His apology was only a pretense. Immediately, the judge refused to lower his sentence. Matthews decided that he was done with the proceedings and started to leave. The judge threatened him with additional charges, but Matthews had no plans of stopping now in charge with escape felony. Escape? If he get back in this cour before leaving the building? He hesitated momentarily as a Beth tried to advise him. However, once the teenager saw his girlfriend, he teamed up with her and fled. Minutes later, police gave chase. He was sentenced to jail and took off. I saw him turn north onto Lemon. From Maple, he was in an older, brave Ford vehicle, 28 AS not TS, running red lights at Harmon Passing on the right, at Williams Reserve. My speed S90, trying to catch ya. I think we were going to have a card 2. We were going to have a code 2 at a can 7. By the time they caught up with him, he had crashed his vehicle and hit a car carrying a mother and her baby. The crash mangled 2 vehicles, leaving parts scattered across a road near I-76, and knocking down a gas station sign. An innocent mother, father, and their baby in an SUV suffered minor injuries. Matthew's vehicle was so damaged that officers had to break up the car to free him and his girlfriend. Where Essie at all right, weary. Going to have multiple vehicles. Airbag deployment. Ma, are you okay? I got my baby okay, she asks. Okay, all right, we got squads coming. Ashley, help them get out, help them get out. He could unstop crying as officers work too to rescue him from the damaged car. BRE, in out. BRE, in out. BRE, in and out. Breath, in and out. Breathe in. I am going to need multiple squads. I need help, sir, okay? I do want to know why I did this. Oh my God. What was going on? Why were you taking off? 'Cause they were trying to lock me up for 90 days and I have a whole life. So what happened? I tried to run. Like Y.I. Matthews and his girlfriend were transported to the hospital. He was later sentenced to 425 days. If you thought these reactions were shocking, you'd be amazed at this video of the youngest death sentences of all time.